Bam, I'm back and I'm ready to go. So, before I start this video, make sure this is your first time watching the Agree to Disagree podcast and boxing content and boxing news and MMA news and anything really combat sports. If this is your first time watching, don't forget to hit that notification bell, like, comment, subscribe. Check me out also on Instagram at Straight Outta Content, because all the content that you see here is brought to you by Straight Outta Content. That's going to be the multimedia company that Agree to Disagree, aka A2D, with me and Omar. That is what this is under, as well as some car content, music. It's all under Straight Outta Content. Children videos and stuff like that. So just please like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, first thing I just want to get into is happy Thanksgiving to all the people out there, all the fans. Appreciate that. I got a lot of love with the last podcast of the prediction of the Deontay Wilder versus Ruiz fight 2. Forgetting his name. I'm getting over the flu. I was kind of out last week. My partner Omar, he got the flu when he was in Vegas, so that's the reason why I had to shoot the podcast by myself. Then I just got the flu. I'm getting over it. I think I caught a different strain of the flu. I had my flu shot. It was good. Then I caught a different strain of the flu from my daughter, because she was on vacation in Mexico. She came back and we were sharing a drink, and I think I got a different strain of the flu from her. That happened to me also this year. I got the flu before I went to Dubai. Then when I came back, I came back with a strain of the flu from Dubai, because the doctors ended up treating me way different than they normally would people who just get the regular generic flu. So again, I apologize if I sound nasally. Just want to get some content out there on some more boxing news. But the first thing I want to say is, if you woke up today and you're able to watch this video, be thankful. That's how I want to start today, or this video. If you woke up today and you're able to watch this video, whatever day that this is posted, be thankful. Today is actually Thanksgiving. Well, technically the day after, so Black Friday. Please go out there, get everything that you need, and also support Small Business Saturday. That's really the main thing. Please support Small Business Saturday. Your small boxing gym, support it. If it's open today, go there, support it. Even if you don't get a membership, let somebody else know. I know that I do free security at my local boxing gym. Even if my daughter isn't signed up, currently she's not signed up right now, but anytime that they have an event where they have the kids and they have the amateur show, I always attend and I always provide security for them. So don't forget to support Small Business Saturday. Okay, let's just get into some local news. Into some boxing news that happened that we, kind of heard within the last few days since the Wilder Ortiz fight. You saw my prediction was right. I'm not going to get into that fight because Omar and I are going to actually film our podcast on Saturday. So our goal is to put out the podcast at least once a week, and then throughout the week I will drop these small videos like this, just going over just some news and some things that I've heard in the boxing world and in the MMA world. First thing we're going to start out with is the big news that we know that Floyd Mayweather is coming back in 2020. The rumor around everywhere is that you hear fighters, TMZ got Canelo. Canelo said he's only going to fight MMA fighters. You got Leonard Ellerbe, president of Mayweather Promotions, also stating, yes, he's definitely coming back. We don't know, but everybody's leaning towards it's probably going to be an MMA fighter, maybe Jorge, the guy who would just be Diaz. He's really good with his hands, so that would kind of make sense. He can kick. I don't see Floyd fighting in anything that's not boxing, but that kid's hands are good. I don't see him fighting Conor McGregor. It's definitely going to be at 154 pounds. But yeah, that's the big news that's coming out, that he's going to fight an MMA fighter. He's definitely not fighting Pacquiao again. So that's not happening. I know Pacquiao is waiting to see. Pacquiao said he's going to fight soon. I don't see him fighting Pacquiao. There's no reason to it. And now Pacquiao's looking for an easy fight with not Danny Garcia. He's looking for the smaller Mikey Garcia. which is fine. I mean, Mikey Garcia can box his butt off. I just think that Pacquiao at this age, even at 40, is still too big of a person, because Mikey's only had one fight at welterweight. Other than that, he's a 135 pounder. So even if they were to fight at 140, weight class that Mikey Garcia skipped, I still think that Pacquiao is just too much for him. He's a really good boxer. He can time really well. Great power. He can definitely box. I just think that right now he's just too small. I think that Danny Garcia is actually a harder target. He's definitely not going to fight Sean Porter. So I don't see, for Pacquiao, I think his next fight is going to be, a money grab with Mikey Garcia, just for the money. Back to the Mayweather thing. So that's the reason why I don't think it's going to be Mayweather, him and Pacquiao too. So just let me know, leave in the comments below or whatever, wherever you're watching this video, on Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, Sorry, I had 3 plates of Thanksgiving food today. It was delicious. Luis Ortiz. I don't know how I forgot his damn name. Luis Ortiz. Man, anyway. So, please, sorry, it's also, I got to create content every day. It's 4:36 in the morning. If you guys can see that, it's 4:36 in the morning. I'm sick. I just took another dose of my Tamiflu. Just bear with me for this quick video, for this news update and stuff like that. Bear with me, but I'm going to keep grinding, keep trying to give you guys as much content, as much sports content as possible. So with that said, also, so we got the Mayweather coming out 2020. Let me know if you're excited for that. I personally don't want to see him fight, not in a negative way. Of course, I'll watch it. I just enjoyed that he was able to retire on top. I enjoyed that. And then have his little exhibitions. That to me was perfect. Like, that's perfect. I think what I do think is he's going to box on Dana White's new boxing platform. So if you see Floyd with Dana White, that's because they're doing business together. And if Dana White can get one of his known UFC fighters to fight Floyd Mayweather on one of his first pay-per-views, that'll kind of jump off. And we all know this. If you didn't know, then you will know that these guys have done business together way before Dana White was even rich. And they did business together way before Floyd fought Conor McGregor. They did business together way before Dana White was even with the UFC, or even before the UFC, I want to say, existed. Back when Dana White would ask Floyd Mayweather to wear his brand on his boxing trunks. You can go YouTube these videos. This is true. These are facts. We only speak facts over here at Agree to Disagree, A2D. So, and again, if you're first time watching this video, you're just checking this video out, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get all the up-to-date news on true facts and boxing. We are going to address this in our podcast, because right now there's so much clickbait out there, and we at A2D, 2 guys who have been punched in the face, sparred in the ring. Neither one of us are professionals or amateurs, but we have definitely been punched in the face in the ring, sparred in the ring, and both of us train our children in boxing. Boxing is life. I am boxing. Omar is boxing. So that's the reason why we just only want to produce facts. We don't have anything against any fighter. We are always going to take the fighter side versus the media side. We may be media, but we're always going to take the fighter side. So with that said, if you didn't know, if you see Dana White and Floyd Mayweather together, especially at this age and this time in their lives, they're doing a lot of business together. And we all know that Dana White wants to get into boxing. So what better person? He doesn't really have a relationship with Bob Arum, because he's definitely voiced his opinion on Bob Arum. He's definitely voiced his opinion on DAZN, because he believes in pay-per-view, but DAZN believes in a subscription pay scale, which is fine. Again, I'm always with the fighter. Whatever fighter can get money wherever they're at, I'm all for it. So it's good to have diversity, because then you create competition. So, and then that creates demand. So with that said, they're doing business together. So what I'm predicting is Floyd Mayweather will fight a known UFC fighter on Dana White's boxing platform. Sounds pretty good. That I understand. He's doing it from a business standpoint, and he's helping out another businessman. It's only going to help that brand. and it's only going to make it better. It's no different than what Oscar De La Hoya just did with having the Tito Ortiz versus the Chuck Liddell fight 3. You know what I mean? They just used 2 UFC guys to, hey, listen, we know you guys are old and stuff like that. Come help our first event. So with that said, that's that business. The next fight, the next big boxing thing that's going on, I'm going to save the big one for last because I don't want to make this video too long, is the Gervonta Davis versus Gamboa fight. That fight's in December 28th. That fight's coming up. So we have the Ruiz-Joshua fight December 7th. Then we have that fight. No, then we have the Kasim Usman fight. I can't pronounce his name, but you know what I'm talking about in the UFC. Versus Colby Covington. I may be pronouncing his name wrong. Again, we try to cover combat sports and stuff like that, but we don't step out of our lane here at Agree to Disagree. It's a boxing podcast. I made comment, like you just saw with the Teddy Atlas. He had Jorge on his show, but he focuses on boxing. He may touch on that stuff, but because it's a combat sport, any man that gets into the octagon or the ring, I respect. Period. I respect you. Period. So we don't disrespect fighters over here. Some people may disrespect fighters. We don't do that. Nobody's weak. Nobody's scared of anybody. Trust me. These guys got to this level and are making it on TV. They are not scared of another fighter. Period. It's politics. Anyway, so that fight is huge. Hands down, biggest UFC fight of 2019. Colby Covington, Kasim Usman, however I'm destroying his name. Please blow me up in the bottom of the comments about his name. That fight, we are definitely doing a podcast on. I cannot wait for that fight. That fight is one of the biggest fights of the year, period, in combat sports, but definitely the biggest UFC fight. I cannot wait for that fight. That fight's right after the Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua fight, and then we got the Gervonta Tank Davis versus Yuriorkis Gamboa fight. I cannot wait for that fight. Terrence Crawford already beat Gamboa. He stopped him, but he got clipped himself in that fight by a 135-pounder. I want to say it was 130 at the time. Either 130 or 135 they fought that fight at. Again, we'll go over this more in our podcast. But again, this is just a quick news update. So that fight, guys, please, if you can, get it on pay-per-view. However way that you can see that fight, please watch that fight and support that fight. This is going to be a coming-out party for Gervonta Davis. He didn't get his fight with Abner Mares. I think this fight will be that. Yuriorkis Gamboa is coming off of a good knockout win of his last fight. I want to say his only loss is to Terrence Crawford, who we know is on the pound-for-pound list, but he moved up to 140. Tank is now at 135, campaigning at 135. There's a lot of fights there. I think with a good performance against this fight, and the fight's in Atlanta, with a good performance against Gamboa, and if he can stop Gamboa, yeah. Gervonta Davis will go into 2020 as one of the top 3-4 money fighters in boxing. You got Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, because he's overseas and he sells like crazy over there. So win, lose, or draw, the man sells. We're just speaking facts here. We're talking about sales. Anthony Joshua sells. Canelo Alvarez, Gervonta Tank Davis. Other than that, these other fighters aren't doing crazy numbers. Errol Spencer's growing, but with his accident, we don't know when he's coming back. Oh, and I totally forgot Pacquiao. Pacquiao's probably like 1 or 2 on that list. So remove one of those guys, but those are the top 5 in whatever order that you feel like putting them in. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Manny Pacquiao, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Canelo Alvarez. Those are the top money earners really right now in boxing of any weight class. Mix them however you want. Those guys are earning the most money. And if you have somebody else you want to throw in there too, I still don't see those guys doing the numbers of the type of money that these guys are doing. Again, I could be missing out somebody, but those are the top 5 that really come to mind. But I guess you have to add Floyd in there if he comes back in 2020. So yeah, please pay attention to that fight. Go back, watch Tank's old fights. Go back, watch Gamboa's fight. Go watch Gamboa versus Terrence Crawford. If you don't believe me, go back and watch Gamboa versus Terrence Crawford. He was the last fight that I've seen every Terrence Crawford fight. A little bit before that Gamboa fight, and then all the way up into his most current fight. And I will be watching his next fight as well. But again, it's a no-name guy. I don't know him. You 99% of the people out there don't know him. I don't even know if he's ranked. Whatever. That's what he's fighting, those guys. There's a lot of other guys with belts that he could be fighting. Whatever, he's fighting that guy. Totally different subject. Anyway, the point of the matter is, he already claimed and said that he's not fighting Sean Porter. So, and Sean Porter's totally available. So it's kind of the politics of boxing. It's like, who else will you fight that's going to make us want to be interested? I'm tired of watching you fight tomato cans. Anyway, I digress. With that being said, you will see Terrence Crawford tested in that fight. Outside of that fight, he hasn't really been tested. He's fought some good guys, but he hasn't been tested. He was able to smoke right through him. For some reason, in the Gamboa fight, he just got clipped, and Gamboa is small. So that's why I can't wait to see what Gamboa can do against Tank, or vice versa, what Tank can do against Gamboa. It's going to be a really good fight. The next, I'm going to end this little video with, looks like Conor McGregor is going to face Cowboy. I always forget that guy's name, but if you know UFC, you know Cowboy. That's his name. I forgot his name. I could probably find it in a couple seconds, but it's 4:46 in the morning, and I'm about to take some more medicine and then finish my shift. But Conor McGregor is coming back. Looks like he's going to fight in January, so he's probably starting to train now. I've seen Cowboy fight before, and he's definitely capable of beating Conor McGregor, period. Because we don't know what fighter we're going to get in Conor. We know Cowboy comes to fight every single time, and he's not shattered or wavered by losses. He's lost, but he's not shattered or wavered. It doesn't affect him like it does some fighters. Like a Ronda Rousey, a loss really affected her. We see some other guys, and we've seen Anderson Silva lose how many times? It doesn't necessarily affect him mentally. Some fighters lose, and they can't function after. They cannot function after. I mean, we saw Daniel Cormier, we saw him lose twice to John Jones, and it never affected him. He ended up becoming champion in 2 different weight divisions. But for some reason, Conor had back-to-back losses to Floyd and to Khabib. And he got whooped by Khabib. And to know that there's a man out there that you know you can't beat, it's going to eat away at you. Hopefully he's not drinking anymore. Hopefully he's taking training serious. He's an exciting fighter, and I'm speaking about Conor. He's an exciting fighter. He definitely, some fighters took a lot of motivation from like Ali. And then you get after a while you may develop, and next thing you know you get a person like Floyd, and Conor definitely took a page out of Floyd's book and applied it to himself. He definitely took a page out of Floyd's book, because he was the only fighter in the UFC that was able to generate the type of money that he has in such a short amount of time. Only like a 4 or 5 year span before he was able to go from his $3 million paycheck to all the way up to $100 million. So, and I guarantee you in his next fight, if he can beat Cowboy, he's going to fight Cowboy. They'll probably pay him around 3 to 5 because he's been out for so long. And he had all those things on the outside. If he can beat him, I can guarantee you his fight after Cowboy, if he's successful. That's an if. A big if. We will address that in the podcast. If he can beat him, yeah, he's looking at 10, 15 million, 20 million his next fight, whoever the hell he decides to fight. And again, even that could be a potential fight for Floyd in the future. Everybody thinks he's just going to fight UFC guys. It makes sense if Dana White is bringing his own boxing company. I mean, that makes sense. So and with the baddest MF belt, I'm not going to say it, the cuss word, but with the baddest MF belt, that kind of lets me think like he's testing the waters to see if UFC fans will accept that belt, will accept a person holding that belt, knowing it's not the real official UFC belt, but let me test to see if these guys will accept this belt. If they do, I will apply my own belt to my own boxing company. So So whatever boxing company that he creates, it will have its own belts outside of the WBC, IBF, IBO, WBO, and WBA belts. I don't count the NABA belt. You can if you choose to. But I think that's what Dana's doing. He's testing the water. So far, the BMF belt is very successful. So he's thinking, if I start my own boxing company, and I got Floyd Mayweather, Al Heyman, and I can access those fighters, have them fight on my cards, have them fight some guys that I'm bringing up. If I can create my own belt like I did in the UFC, which is the #1 belt. People come from all over the world to come and fight for a UFC belt. They're not fighting for a WBO UFC belt. They're fighting, or a WBA or a WBC, which is revered as the WBC belt is revered as the highest prestigious belt that you can get in boxing. But they're watering it down with things like franchising and super champions. That's another subject that we will discuss in the podcast. Please, I promise you we will discuss that. Please leave your comments on that. But again, I digress. That's the politics of boxing. We here at A2D, Agree to Disagree, are here for the fighters. Period. That's who we're here for. Oh, don't forget, I apologize. Let me throw this in here because I stay in Houston. Charlo Jermell is fighting. Jermell is fighting. Let me try. This is very important because I want everybody to know. Charlo. Let's see. Next fight, PBC. He is, because I just saw the heated press conference. Yes, Tony Harrison. Ontario, California, December 21st. Okay, great. So there's a fight in between the take fight. Okay, guys, please. If you live in Houston, please support this kid, Jermell Charlo. Don't get it. He's the one who fights at Mel. Think about it like this. And if you're from this area, you know. Mel fights at 154. Jamal Charlo. He's the middleweight, and he's still undefeated. He fights at 160. He's the one that all the Triple G's and everybody else are not fighting. I'm not going to say they're scared. I'm not going to say Canelo is scared. I'm not going to say Triple G is scared. I'm not going to say Danny Jacobs is scared. I'm not going to say any of those guys are scared. They're just not fighting him. So he's just doing what he can do and maintaining. I support him. But Jermell is going to avenge his only loss to Tony Harrison. That was a great fight. I had Jermell winning, but I can see, I thought that the judges should have did it like they did the Tyson Fury fight with Deontay Wilder. They should have did it a draw. They didn't. They gave it to Harrison. That's fine, because we've seen that type of fight before where they've taken it from the guy. When we saw Canelo fight Lara, and Lara felt stripped. Lara felt robbed, but he wasn't the big name. So Tony Harrison got the decision. They're fighting again. Okay, guys, so again, this is just a little quick update. The video ran kind of long because there was a bunch of news out there and stuff like that, and I touched on some other subjects. But again, happy Thanksgiving to you. Hopefully you and your family are well. Again, if you're able to watch this video, I can't say this enough. If you're able to watch this video, that means that you have another day. Please be productive with your day. Even if you're sick and bad health, I wish you good health. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this content. We are trying to only produce good quality content, straight out of content and understraight out of content. In the sports world, it is Agree to Disagree, A2D, Carl and Omar. I'm out. I'm going to get some sleep. You guys be good. Peace.